So one of the things we've been talking about most of the time in our production meetings and staff meetings at Mvskoke Media is coming up with new advanced ways to reach our audience and to keep the content fresh and something that is going to be at their fingertips through social media, keep them engaged. And one of the things we've talked about is a new roundtable segment. I think that's what we're really, we see that in other journalism shows where they're talking about their stories. I think it would be great. It's an opportunity to sort of pull back the curtain and let them see our creative process, our practical process to get these stories out.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea, and I think it's a good way to build trust, to show how we handle and process information and approach our sources.
It's going to add some real solid basis to the kind of material we turn out, kind of a look behind the scenes of the story behind the story. And I think people enjoy seeing that one, but it can tell you so much more about the subject matter.
I think it's an opportunity too, Jessica, and you and I had talked about this, to basically take the experience of a production meeting and have all of those things that, you know, make up that final print story that you see. We take that to the viewer. I think there's value in that.
I think there is, and it'll help get citizens involved too. I mean, the aspect of how we do things, why we do things the way we do, I think citizens would really enjoy that.
You know, Sterling, as an editor, I think one of the things, you know, of a newspaper, okay, in 2016, you got to come up with things other than having just, you know, pull out the physical paper. There's got to be ways to engage that audience, reach them. So with sort of putting a face on the process, you think that kind of satisfies that for the people that are following us digitally?
Well, absolutely, and I think we've made big gains addressing that initial concern all around just this week. You and I have integrated TV and the paper together. You know, we were setting this whole thing up on Instagram. And ultimately, as far as building that trust, like I said earlier, it's important to put sometimes a face to a byline too, to know who's writing your news, and that isn't always easy with newspaper, just with the hard copy. So,
Gary, you get a lot of people when you're out and about at festivals, events, things you're covering, recognize you as Gary Fife that writes the stories, but has sort of an interest in your process or in yourself as an individual.
I've run across that. First of all, it's very flattering. It's kind of nice to know people are paying attention to what you produce, what you care about. Funny thing is, I get more questions about my column in the newspaper, Emma Benaya, than anything else. Like, where do you come up with this weird stuff? And I said, well, you know, do like Will Rogers, just read the papers and tell you what I see. But it's nice for them to talk to me about the radio show, Muscogee Radio also. Like, I really enjoyed the interview with the chief. I'm glad you did it. I think by those kinds of methods and those subjects, we really are reaching our constituency and delivering a product there. So I'm pretty proud of it.
All right, well, let's get down to business. What is our biggest story this week that we're working on, you guys?
Well, we just wrapped up, you know, coverage of One Fire, Muscogee Nation Business Enterprise. Probably the next story we need to go after is Muscogee International. You know, they were funded by MNBE. We learned that in our MNBE coverage, and just showing citizens what they do for economic development.
Anybody jump in, feedback from the citizens so far from these stories?
This particular direction has never been seen before. And I think it does wonders for our citizens to draw back that veil of secrecy, if you will, and let them know where their money's going, how it's being used, what kind of businesses are we engaged in. I'm sure there are people who have all kinds of feelings about doing security in the Middle East, you know, like what are we doing there, or this sort of thing. But by bringing those faces and those numbers out, I think they're pleased in finding out. Well, you know, I wanted to know this for such a long time. And that goes along. A perfect example of what we're trying to do is freedom of the press. You know, I don't want to wave that banner too much, but this has always been our objective: is to inform our citizens of really what matters to them. You know, the budget, money, where are we being invested, who are we doing business with.
I think too is we not only check ourselves as far as, are we satisfying that need of the citizens for this kind of information? How well are we executing it? You think we've given them enough, or do you think they're, do you think with our coverage and our stories and the financials that we've been given without a FOIA, you think it's enough for them, or you think we need to dig a little deeper with that FOIA?
Well, gosh, it's awful early. Without waving that banner too much, we've only had it for so long. So a lot of these pieces are new. We're trying to gauge the impact on social media, but man, people watching right now are more than welcome to go on there, post in our comments section, inbox us, and call us and let us know. Critique us a little bit and let us know what their needs are.
One of the coolest things about this opportunity with the roundtable is we're going to be able to not only discuss stories like we have, but we're going to be able to plug in citizens, community members, tribal leaders, things like that into this segment, into this setting, to where we have real conversations. We have real-time conversations about real issues. I think that'll take us to another level as far as some of the coverage that we provide, because we are just an avenue to get citizens and government, to basically have that relationship. And I think that'll show it.
I think that'll be really cool too, because one of the things I keep saying is that we need to be the voice of the people, especially when we're out covering stories and stuff. And so this will actually give us an avenue to have citizens on, and so their voice is heard.
Yeah, it's definitely that next step. I mean, we're engaging them on social media, but if we involve them in the process, as much as I enjoy all your company, of course, we plan to mix it up.
Well, Gary, I think on Muscogee Radio, you've had citizens call in. So they've got something to say.
And I think that's important to hear that voice. It kind of puts a fresh aspect on things. It gives us a new way to perhaps view things and examine things.
Right.
Reminder that, wait a minute, there's still a job yet to be done. And that personal reaction from citizens is critical, I think, and keeps us well grounded.
Absolutely. Well, we are we want the citizens to know their concerns, their questions, their needs from the government are our highest priority. We will put that in place by getting that message out there unfiltered, as Gary said, have them in talking with their own voices on camera. It can be very invaluable for this department, I think. So we will keep doing that. We will keep everyone informed. And guys, thank you for being with us here on this first roundtable.
Well, for having us.
Thank you.
Yeah.